and welcome to Basel for the semi-final. Tim Henman, Goran Ivanisevic, the players on court as you see, and it's the second serve, first point. Henman on serve.
15.
Way to start, second service ace. Just Bradman and sitting alongside me, Frew McMillan for this one. Tim Henman still on course to recapture the title he won here 12 months ago, and up against a reviving Goran Ivanisevic. I say reviving Frew because he's had a pretty lean 12 months by his standards.
Yes, he has. His problem really has been that he hasn't played enough indoor events. This is only his 4th indoor event of the year. Generally at his best on grass or indoors.
40.
This could be an ace match, as they say. Goran serving 29 yesterday in his win against world number 2 Yevgeny Kafelnikov. Very confident opening game for the 4th seed Tim Henman. So Tim Henman, 25 years of age, world ranked 6, seeded 4 here, 6 feet 1, 4 titles, 2 in 97, 2 in 98. As I said, defending his title he won here in Basel a year ago. 5th semi-final of the year, including that semi-final loss to Pete Sampras, of course, and reached a career high ranking of number 5 back in July. Goran, 28 years of age, born in Split, at the home of his last title. Now ranked 44 in the world. He's finished the last 9 years in the top 20. Wonders whether or not he can still rejuvenate that sort of form. This is a good week for him so far, though. Thomas Engqvist, the 8th seed, his first victim in round 1, 7-5 in the 3rd. Beat qualifier Chris Woodruff from the States, 7-6 in the 3rd in the 2nd round, and as I said, beating the 2nd seed and world number 2 Kafelnikov yesterday. Gives me a chance to talk to you about my theory about Tim Henman, Frew. I'm a great believer that Tim's problem is he's got one. The guy's top 10 in the world, great player, but I'm convinced he doesn't consciously have a game plan. Talk about that as the match unfolds, perhaps.
30.
He's never lost to Goran. They've played 3 times, twice in 97 and once last year at Queen's, 6-4 in the 3rd, Henman winning on that occasion.
Serve volleying from Ivanisevic. He's not at his happiest when serve volleying, but might be a case of taking the net off Henman.
First ace. Another love game.
1 game.
9,000 the capacity here. It's been pretty good crowds. Bad day for the Siege yesterday, though. The top 3 all going out. Andrei Agassi you'd have seen, Kafelnikov and our own Greg Rosetsky.
15.
Tim Henman, the highest seed left.
Well, terrific start on the serve by Henman. He's up against in Ivanisevic, really one of the poorer returners, and of course there's a marked difference between them in those skills. Ivanisevic last year just winning 18% of his opponent's service games. That ranks amongst the worst.
So much better off his forehand through for me when he's really moving on to the ball.
Yes, and we've noted that this week, haven't we? And he's going into court, as it were, following the ball just partly, even if he's not going into the net, as long as his momentum's heading in that direction.
5 minutes played, 2-1 for Henman. Neither man to drop a point on serve so far. We'll be back after the break.
Rain, wind, snow. Because you care about safety, you chose a car with an airbag and ABS. But what about all-wheel drive? All-wheel drive for all-wheel drivers. Subaru Legacy takes you anywhere in style. Subaru.
Whatever, whoever, wherever. If it's happening in European sport, it's reported on SportsCenter. And now the service is better than ever, introducing flashes for the really hot breaking news and a special extended late-night edition at the fixed time of 2300 CET, 10 UK. SportsCenter, every day throughout the day, keeping you on the pace. With Fila.
Mad Eyes Goran, I call him. Or left.
Well, Henman just wondering, but terrific judgment by Ivanisevic. Henman this year is 8-4 against left-handers. Seems to attract them, although he hasn't played one since Jan Simmerink in Rome. But up until that stage, he'd had 12 matches against left-handers. Last year, he was 13-1, 7 lost.
Serve pretty short. Henman having a lot of time to play this.
Yes, and this is where he's lost a lot of his effectiveness, of course, has been on the serve, Ivanisevic, but indoor should really help him.
It's a crowd pleaser. Good touch early on from Henman.
Yes, you've got to be alive to these drop shots of Ivanisevic. He inevitably plays them. I thought Henman was a little slow to start. He may have been, but terrific hands to guide the lob over Ivanisevic's backhand side.
Only needs one of those break points. This really is a fine start. We've seen this so often from Tim Henman, finding his range early on. And there's really a finer sight in tennis when Henman's in full flow. It's a joy to behold.
Yes, I think Ivanisevic just a little hasty there. I think he's making a mistake serve volleying, particularly behind second serve, because we've seen that Henman has been a little edgy off the ground. No need for Ivanisevic to rush in. He's not that sound on his volley.
Beautiful hands, just controlling that volley so well off a fiercely struck return. Just makes that shot look so easy, but it's not.
Quite a difference between the Ivanisevic forehand and the backhand from the back of the court. Much more reliable on the forehand side.
service game in a row without conceding a point. And it sees the fourth seed take a commanding 4-1 lead in the first set.
Some people will call me obsessive.
This man believes it is better to anticipate change than to have it forced upon you. If he gets his way, the pollution of town and country will be a thing of the past. The drain on our precious natural resources would ease.
And our dependence on traditional fossil fuels would be ended forever, in favor of an energy supply which is practically inexhaustible.
Once, he would have been an oil company's worst nightmare. Today, he's their brightest hope.
First point.
Lot 15.
Yeah, the body language early on, it says it all really. Now that forehand there through, short ball from Ivanisevic, and Tim just stayed behind the baseline, leant back, took it late. And that's what I mean about the game plan. It's not consistent.
Yes, he really should have been looking to come in on the backhand. He's seeing that the ground strokes are faltering. Doesn't want Ivanisevic to get into any kind of a rhythm from the back of the court.
15, 30.
Well, I thought he'd overcome his frailty this week through his wins, particularly over Enquist and Kafelnikov, against whom he has a terrific record. Serve not flowing yet, though.
Because in many ways, Goran's not used to playing 4 matches in a week. Certainly not recently. Such a dangerous opponent, though, isn't he, once the serve gets going?
Well, he's got one of the great serves of all time, there's no doubt about that. But it hasn't been apparent this year. I think partly, really, because he didn't have a tournament in his home country. He normally wins the tournament in Split or Zagreb, but there was none in Croatia earlier this year.
15 now.
It's like he's motivated himself to serve better than Ivanisevic today.
Yes, he won 19 successive points on his serve against Basel. Then he won 16 successive points against Medvedev. And of course now he's won, 13 here. Has had his successes this year. Ivanisevic got to the final of the French doubles, second time he's done that. Playing with Jeff Tarango, who's been making a name for himself in doubles this year.
Years ago, Ivanisevic lost to one J.P. McEnroe.
I always think that's a bit of a contradiction in terms. J.P.'s no justice of the peace, is he?
Doesn't take you long through to get a corker in. Outspoken recently, John McEnroe, about the scheduling and the players are overplayed, and the Davis Cup and so on is at the wrong time in relation to the schedule and the tour, as is even in stated voice as Davis Cup captain to the American team. I'm sure there'll be some fireworks next year.
Yes, good luck to them. Four successive missed first serves. Well, match made a play off the ground by Ivanisevic, but what Henman was thinking of here, trying a stop volley, far too much air, needed to keep the pressure on back deep.
Uncertainty has given Goran a breakpoint chance. Some youngsters in the crowd. Making themselves heard. Said it after his match against Medvedev, he played with his toys a little bit. Maybe that kid was just showing his disdain because they were his toys.
Yes, lost his cool against Medvedev. Got reprimanded by the umpire.
Volleying off a slowish second serve again just adds to, for me, the uncertainty about the game plan. He's almost doing it point for point. There's no plan per match. His whole serve, though, survived the break point, geeing himself up, running back 5-2 in the first set.
Rado, a different world.
Walt Disney Pictures presents an all-new motion picture event.
That's one hurdle. Are you sure this water's getting
stay in the opening set of this semi-final in Basel. The other semi-final, Karol Kuchera, saw yesterday, from David, putting out top seed Andre Agassi, playing Nicholas Kiefer, Greg Ruzetsky. Match follows this. In terms of following it on court, but we'll be going after the rugby.
Yes, one of the double semi-finals already been played this afternoon. Yuri Novak and David Recall through to the final. We play the winner of Norwald and Alyot against Brent Haygarth and Kitanoff.
14-15. Ivanisevic.
He's done the right thing. He's made some Henman serve for the opening set.
Henman is 5 games to 3.
Some people, Brent Haygarth, the son of Renee Skierman, some people might remember her from the late 50s and 60s. With Sandra Reynolds, two of South Africa's leading female players.
Showing good football skills, Goran.
Yes, but no real twinkle in the eye. He's disgusted with the return. Second serve sitting up. Not sure whether to push the one-hander back or hit the two-hander.
It's hard to believe that Goran has beaten players of the quality of Thomas Engqvist and Yevgeny Kafelnikov on this first set form. Two superb wins. Sweden, and the ball's wide. It's a triple set point for Tim Henman. He needs one of them. Good set from Tim Henman. Very positive service games. Only one that was a little bit doubtful. He's taken the first set by 6 games to 3.
6 games to 3.
I can see the stars go down. I can feel the world go round. I watch the sun come up. Oh, what a great day. I'm gonna be having fun out there in the sun, moving on and on. Oh, what a great day. I can see the sun go down. I watch the stars come up. It's been a great
Alltag raus, Österreich rein.
Some of the toughest men on earth. 2 duels in the biggest rugby tournament of all time. The first clash of titans, England v New Zealand. The All Blacks have 16 World Cup wins, just 2 losses. Head-to-head, they have it, but England are at home, and their pack is awesome. Then later, vital action from Pool E. England v New Zealand and the USA v Romania, Saturday from 1700, live on Eurosport.
With Rugby365.com, where the players tell it like it is.
Second serve, first point, second set. It's got to be the hand shoulders with serve and volley more from Goran.
Yes, well, I said earlier I wasn't so sure that it was really. That was a solid volley, chiefly because he stayed down, posed for the cameras too. And that's one of the reasons why. For years he didn't come in behind his first serve at all, which seemed a mistake. I think he needs to vary it. But his problem is that he's just not a terrific enough volleyer. I suppose part of the reason is that he's so committed to the serve, and who can blame him? He's served so well over the years that he's a little slow in and gets caught round about the service line.
Normally loves the target as well, doesn't he, Henman? It makes the game plan easy for him.
Yes, I think so. He loves people coming in at him, which is why he was never really going to be troubled by Neville Godwin in the Davis Cup.
I think that's why out of all the slams he's performed so well at Wimbledon. I know he's got the home support, but the game plan is almost forced upon you by the very nature of the surface, whereas all the others you can chop and change.
Good point.
Better game from the 28-year-old Croat. It's the first game in the second set. We'll be back after these messages.
Nos gusta el deporte y la pasión que se desata al practicarlo. En la televisión solo estamos para que veas nuestra marca.
I hate to travel like this. The service is absolutely dreadful. The in-flight entertainment, forget it. And that food. 10,000 years of civilization. Hasn't anyone thought of a better way to travel?
Sure. Computer, grand class.
Austrian Airlines Grand Class, delicious meals by award-winning chefs, a selection of wines and a wine waiter, and an individual interactive entertainment program. Comfort and service of the next generation. Austrian Airlines, the most friendly airline.
Welcome back. Love one Henman, second set. Much better.
Can be very effective on that running forehand, can Ivanisevic, but given too little time there by Henman's sound approach. Slowly being, I think, driven to distraction here. Ineffective off the ground. Well, 3-second serves and not too much damage done. Very, very good first serve percentage in the first set by Henman, 58%.
interesting comments as well through that Tim made in his press conferences this week about the fact that he's having to work harder for his wins this year. They just seemed to come last year, and he prefers it that way. I'm not so sure I understand what that means. I don't know what he's trying to aim at or get at with that comment.
No, I can understand deserving his success, but on the other hand, if he's had fewer of them.
Must feel so confident that he can win the rallies today. It's man and boy almost.
Yes, he hasn't played really anybody this week who is as poor off the ground as Ivanisevic is. He's able to produce that terrific angled and hard hit forehand. Ivanisevic's 22nd event of the year as opposed to Henman's 24th. Declined to play Davis Cup this year, so that people like Zelko, Krajak and Lovro Zovko had to play for Croatia with Ivan Ljubicic. Ljubicic, who's the second ranked of the Croats at 99 in the world. Ivanisevic generally having to bear the brunt of all the matches.
Not only was he quick, he was deft when he got there.
Yes, it's certainly better to dwell on the positive, which is Henman's play here. Now there's the point I make about struggling to make the service line. If he'd been a yard in, he'd have played the ball just about knee height as opposed to shoelace.
Really did skim the net.
Crowd loving it. A little different this shot. It wasn't quite his usual slice. It was a lot better. Much more Rosewallian. Bit of a creepy crawly too. Didn't get up.
It's a good game. Playing completely within himself, Tim Henman. And he's now well and truly in the driving seat. There's a set-up and now a break. 2-1 in the second set.
And release 2 games to 1.
Rado, a different world.
Come on, Joey. When Daddy says smile, his Samsung camera will do the rest. A zoom lens? Feature for feature, Daddy could spend a lot more, but he couldn't buy a better camera.
Simply amazing.
Simply Samsung.
for a disgruntled-looking Goran Ivanisevic. If you're just joining us, Tim Henman, the fourth seed, is a set-up, and 2-1 with a break, second set in this, the first of these semi-finals. It's the best shot we've seen so far off the ground from the Croat.
Yes, first time he's won the first point on the Henman serve. Can it spark him into better ground stroke play?
Forehand looks so solid when he does that.
Somebody help me move my legs. Hasn't got his coach here with him this week, Adrian Martic. 96 games he's played coming into the semi as opposed to Henman's 78. Had a lot of tennis.
Judging by his reactions then, Goran, in between that last point, he's still hungry for it, isn't he? He's not enjoying not playing well.
Yes, I think the spirit is willing, but the flesh is a little weak.
Really has served well today, Henry. Makes such a difference to his game, to anybody's game. Forehand, he leans back off, just doesn't move onto the ball dictating to him for once. It's the only frailty he's got on the forehand side. Certainly no frailty on the serve. 2-game gap in the second set, 3-1 he leads.
Well, I throw a cat amongst the pigeons. You're one of Britain's leading coaches, David Felgate.
That's a good point. It's a very much talked about point, isn't it? I have a lot of time for David in terms of, ever since he's been working with Tim ranking has gone in an upward direction. Would be the longest rally in the match before I could carry on, but and I'm a great believer through that the word coach means that you have to take somebody from a level and get them to the next level on an ongoing basis, whether it's a complete beginner, just getting them to hit the ball, or somebody in pro tennis who's ranked 50, whatever, to the next level. And you need to work as a team in order to achieve that, coach and player. If you need to bring other people in order for that to keep going, then that's fine. When you stagnate and stop, then you have to look at the relationship. And you certainly need to look at it if you start going in a downward direction. I mean, Tim is still only 25. I know he's not won a major yet.
So you think he's still, in other words, he's still going upward and that Felgate should remain in position?
At the moment, certainly.
Well, he's been out-aced by Henman, and that, of course, shouldn't be if he's to win this match. Just 4 to Henman's 7.
Confirmation there of the rugby later on today, 1700 Central European time, 4 o'clock in the UK. Again, loving the target. His backhand then has a whole new meaning. He knew exactly what shot he was going to play there.
Well, his backhand in this game, to my mind, is much more like the Henman of last year here, of course, where he beat Agassi in the final, hitting a lot more drive backhands, even from the back of the court.
Further breakpoint chance.
And when I say even from the back of the court, that is rather than playing as many slices as he so often uses.
Ivanisevic of old, serving himself out of trouble, and a good serve volley point to finish off with. He's still a breakdown though in the second set. It's Henman 3-2. Back. Buzz going around the crowd. I think they almost feel that Goran's getting himself back into this match. I'm not so sure, Fruit.
Well, just the 3 points against the Henman serve, only that one deuce in the first set. He's got to string together a few more ground strokes. A lot of support from Croatia here, as there inevitably is with Ivanisevic.
Such a shame after the 250 backhand. He almost didn't expect it to come back. He wasn't ready for the next shot.
Well, this was almost Edbergian here, because it was a terrific ground stroke. Edberg, who's won the tournament here 3 times in Basel, 85, 86 and 88. This is the 25th year of its being played, this tournament.
Totally in control. Every ball taken off the rise, particularly off the forehand side. He never looked as though he was going to lose this point.
No, he's absolutely sailing along. But then so was Greg Rosetsky against Kiefer. But Kiefer so much sounder off the ground, of course, than Ivanisevic.
The hospital lob.
Yes, and what you're saying is that had he been able to get to this on time, he might have been able to put Henman out of it. Averaged 15 aces a match last year at Ivanisevic, and would guess this year that it's probably no more than 7 or 8.
Why do you think that is, through motivation?
No, I think he just lost it earlier in the year, and completely lost track and confidence even on the serve, and of course that's where he needs it more than anywhere else. The irony being, as you know, that if he's serving well, the chances are that his ground strokes are likely to perform better. Very seldom the other way around.
Just tipping the balance on his service games at the moment, though. He's hanging on in there, and who knows, anything can happen. 4-3, second set. Join us again.
In business today, you face a crowded marketplace with competition from all sides, greater pressure on margins, too many short-term fixes, too few long-term answers. Now's the time. Come in from the cold. At Zurich Financial Services Group, we create innovative solutions for insurance, financial protection, and asset management. Your aspirations, our passion.
First point, 8th game. I know he's 30-15 through, but I don't like the fact he's suddenly starting to serve and volley consistently. He hasn't done it throughout the match.
Yes, he hasn't done it throughout the tournament. I think he ought to do it a lot more, to have done it a lot more, but in point of the fact that he's still in and doing well.
Not a comfortable service game, though. One game away from making it the second final in 2 years. Third visit here, semi-finalist in '97. David Felgate on the right there. His coach sitting courtside. Must Must have been hard for him to hear all the criticism about the 10th time it's been suggested he should go. He's a pretty thick skin by now. Serving to stay in the match.
Well, that is pretty suicidal. Normally much more secure on the backhand side. The left-hander usually has problems as he gets admonished here for the ball into the crowd. One can understand it though.
I think it's just showing that he cares.
And it's so instinctive, but it has to be instinctive too by the umpires. They have no option.
Funny vibes here. Don't know why.
You don't want these negative thoughts, you know, Chris. If you do, Henman will lose and the All Blacks will win too.
Well, let's hope I'm proved wrong. After the next change of ends, Tim Henman strides off his chair and carries on serving in the same vein that has seen him into a 6-3, 5-4 advantage here in Basel.
Rado, a different world.
Some of the toughest men on earth. Two duels in the biggest rugby tournament of all time. The first clash of titans, England v New Zealand. The All Blacks have 16 World Cup wins, just 2 losses. Head-to-head, they have it, but England are at home, and their pack is awesome. Then later, vital action from Pool E. England v New Zealand and the USA v Romania, Saturday from 1700, live on Eurosport.
With Rugby365.com, where the players tell it like...
15 love, you join us. Good opening point from Tim Henman, serving and staying back, but winning it with a fine serve. Just inside.
Yes, he did well to get that sort of power because he was rather jammed, hadn't made quite enough room, I thought, for the shot, but so effective. And plumb on the line.
As if to prove a point. And he's got 3 match points.
Crowd really appreciating Henman's response to the Ivanisevic supporters.
Super super performance. Yeah, the clenched fist to David Felgate, and not surprisingly so. The 4 matches they played against each other, that by far the most comfortable win for Tim Henman, who stretches his head-to-head lead to 4-0, and is in the final, trying to win again this championship in Basel, and through an accomplished performance against what it has to be said, an inconsistent opponent.
Yes, Ivanisevic never really producing it on the serve, and consequently really not strong and solid enough off the ground. But still, Henman served so well to begin with in that opening set, winning all those consecutive points, and in fact in 10 service games lost just 7 points. That's domination for you.
Very pleased with his afternoon's work. He will face in the final Karol Kuchera or Nicholas Kiefer. That match coming up straight after this one, but we are leaving now. There'll be Sports Centre next with Jeremy Langdon, then the 250cc qualifying practice highlights, and to confirm tomorrow 17:50 Central European time, that's 4:50 in the UK, the final from here in Basel. Can Tim Henman make it 2 years in a row that he'll lift the Davidoff Swiss Indoor Trophy? We hope you've enjoyed the action from Basel today.
Well, getting better. That's an understatement. Congratulations. I think any time one wins a semi-finals in less than an hour, one must be very happy.
Yeah, no complaints whatsoever. I felt confident going out there and played very, very well, so hopefully I can keep that going for the final.
You played him there 4 times, you won 4 times. Is there anything particular why you like to play him?
Yeah, I suppose I do enjoy playing him when I play him.
Because, I mean, you know, most guys do not like to play him.
That's right. I feel like, you know, when he played Yevgeny the other day, he served 29 aces, and once that starts happening, it's really difficult. But I find like I can return his serve okay. I don't try and do too much with it, but I just try and get as many balls back. And once you start getting a few back, I think it puts a little bit more pressure on him. And, you know, persistence paid off.
Well, it seemed to me that he did not look that confident. As a matter of fact, a few times he was at the net. I mean, he missed a lot of volleys and everything like that. He also seemed slightly slow. Do you think he might have been slightly tired after all the 3 setters he had?
Yeah, maybe. I think he's had a really tough run through the tournament, and I felt like my match against Federer was a little bit quicker, and I felt fresh today. So. I can't have any complaints with the match today.
You know, he's a bit of a riddle to everybody. I mean, he can play so well, yet he can play so poorly. Do you have any explanation for it? Because, I mean, he's got so much touch somehow, but then, you know, he misses shots like some of the returns he hit today, you know, they were not bad second serves, but, you know, missed it, and, you know, in the crowd and things like that.
I think that's probably a little bit to do with confidence. He hasn't had such a good run, and this week I think he's really been playing some of the tennis from Ivanisevic of old, and hopefully he can continue that, because I think he's great for the spectators to watch, and hopefully he can, you know, continue to play well.
Well, you guys were obviously service of all the years in this match, and we're having another match coming up soon, and I expect a lot of rallies. Am I right there?
Yeah, very much so. There weren't too many rallies today, but I think the next match, Kiefer against Kuchera, you're going to see a lot of baseline points. They both play really well from the baseline, so a lot of good rallies, and I'll be interested to watch it.
No, because interesting, yesterday Kuchera said after the match against Agassi that he liked Agassi's pace.
Yeah.
So I confronted Kiefer with that, I mean, and he said, well, I'm going to produce some magic. Well, what could that possibly mean?
I don't know. He's against Kuchera, I think he probably moves as well as anyone along the baseline, and you know, especially on this court, it's not so fast. If you're going to hit winners, you've got to hit them pretty hard. So I don't know whether Kiefer's going to try and sort of hit through him, or whether he's going to have to come up with something different, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, we're looking forward to that one, and we're looking forward to the final. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hans.
Well, that was nice, an unexpected bonus, hearing Tim Henman's views of things. Seems very relaxed and very confident, talking to our own Heinz Guntart there. So once again, we hope you've enjoyed the semi-final action here from Basel today. We do hope to have your company tomorrow for the final. 17:50 Central European time, that's 4:50 in the UK. From Frew McMillan and me, Chris Bradnam, it's bye for now.